Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. It's time for video number 2 in our painted Christmas Stamp-A-Stack. We're going to do this Love and Joy version. Our Stamp-A-Stack makes 4 of this design. If you missed video number 1 where we made a Holly Jolly Christmas, 4 of this design, the link is below the video. This is a 3-part series, and video number 3 will make friends like you make this season special. So Wonder Recipe number 14 Stamp-A-Stack makes 9 cards, 4, 4, and 1. We've already cut 4 patterns according to Wonder Recipe number 14 with a slight modification. We did not divide this 2" by 4" segment. We left it 2 by 4. So we're going to take those 4 2 by 4 pieces for this design, and these 4 3 by 4 pieces for this design. And we're left with 4 2 by 2s, and that's our last card, and I'll see you in video number 3 for that one. So let's set aside the designer series paper and grab our card bases. So there is a painted Christmas Stamp-A-Stack class packet in the Kitchen Table Stamper store while supplies last. You can buzz over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop and then sort on the right hand side. There's a product filter, sort for class packets, and you'll be able to see if there's any of the painted Christmas Stamp-A-Stack packets left. When you get a class packet from us, you get your envelopes, your card bases. They're scored for you, and we do the die cutting and punching for you. So, and for this design, we have 2 garden green card bases, a real red card base, and an evening evergreen. And then inside the envelope, we did the die cutting for you. Let me show you. If you're die cutting your own kit, you'll need 2 real red, 1 garden green, and 1 evening evergreen. These are the swoopy square from the Hippo and Friends die set. It's that middle size. And you'll also need 4 of the scalloped end labels for your greeting. Now this is the second largest one, that kind of middle size. We've got 4 of those. Let's stamp our greeting. We're gonna do a mix and match greeting. We're gonna do 2 evergreen, 1 red, and 1 garden green. The Love and Joy Come to You sentiment is from Christmas to Remember. It's a rubber stamp set with awesome greetings. I love the font. It's fun and playful, but not silly. Clear and easy to read, and just so beautiful. We're gonna do ink pads here. Evergreen, garden green, and real red. I'm gonna start with the evening evergreen and do 2 of those. A little bit high of center on the label. Then we'll chamois and change to garden green. Do 1 of those. All right, let's clear away the ink pads, and we're going to work on our card bases now. When I do a Stamp-A-Stack class, I like to do all of the greetings at once. So for a video, that's not practical. But if I'm doing this Stamp-A-Stack because I ordered the class packet, I'm going to do all the greetings for all 9 cards. And then I'm going to do the card bases for all 9 cards. And I embossed my card bases. I did a combination of the hammered metal and the Merry Melody. We're going to do the hammered metal on this one. And I like to do them with a little bit mix and match in the background because we don't do your backgrounds for you. We want you to feel encouraged, though, to choose your own if you don't have what we used. So sometimes I'll mix and match a little bit. The hammered metal embossing folder is a 3D folder from Stampin' Up. Let's get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we'll do just 1 of those for demonstration. I feel like it looks a little bit like crackled glass and maybe like an ornament, like a vintage ornament. So I thought this was a neat background. It's also super bold. We're going to do it inside out, though. I like this look, but you can also get this look from the hammered metal. So really very different. You kind of get 2 different effects from the same folder. Really cool. All right, let's pop this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Gonna deboss directly on my card front, so pop that in there. Really square up your folder so that it's not past the platform. You want the number 1 platform. And then the number 4 for 3D embossing folders. Give that a crank. And there's our gorgeous debossed, almost like a crackly texture. Now we're going to put our designer series papers on our card fronts. And you can mix and match these. You can follow exactly as the samples. You can use the papers I used, or you can use different patterns. It's up to you, and it really is so much fun to mix and match. I'm going to follow my samples because I know that they turned out well, and on video isn't the time to decide if something looks good or not. So I'm just going to deal these out, 1 3x4 piece and 1 2x4 piece for each card. I'm going to use a generous amount of liquid blue because the 3D folders are so deep. And we're going to just toggle a little bit high for the big piece and a little bit lower for the smaller piece. All right, when we've got all those done, let's take our greetings and swoopy squares. We're going to add the label, the stamped label, to the swoopy square with a little bit of dimensional centered so that beautiful color peeks out from behind. All right, so we're going to do just a little bit of dimensionals behind the back of this label, kind of spread it out, because when we add our greenery, like floral arranging, we want to be able to slide the stems back behind the label. So just a little bit will do. Get those centered and do all these the same way. Now let's do some stamping. In your class packet, you have 7 sheets of 5.5 by 8.5 basic white. First thing you want to do with your 7 sheets is decide how you're going to line your cards. I lined all of my cards with a little scalloped, pierced rectangle, and may this be a Christmas to remember and cherish greeting. Let me show you where I got that. So the first thing you'll do is cut all of your 8 cards or all of your 9 cards a layer, either with your paper trimmer or if you choose to use the scallop contours. And then with all the white cardstock that's left over, you're going to stamp your greeneries. When you're doing a stamp-a-stack, you want to do them all at one time. So you do all your card liners and then stamp all your greenery. We're going to stamp, for the sake of the video, one at a time though. Let's get some ink pads. First up, we have Evening Evergreen, Garden Green, Real Red, and Soft Suede. We're going to do just 1 each of what we need for this card. By the magic of television, I already have my duplicate berries and my duplicate bow and all the bits that I need for the other cards, because I sat down the night before and I stamped all of my little greenery pieces and die cut them. It's a very good pre-stamp-a-stack activity. Put on something that you enjoy watching and stamp each of your pieces. So that was the bow in Garden Green. Then we're gonna do this leafy in Evening Evergreen. Then I've got a little stick sprig. We're gonna do that in Soft Suede. And the berries for that sprig in Real Red. Now let me clear away the ink pads and we're gonna get 2 different colors. Now I've got early espresso and crumb cake. We're gonna do some pine cones. I love this pine cone. The pine cones are worth the price of admission for the Christmas season bundle. They are the perfect little thing to have in your stamp collection to embellish any holiday project, but not just holidays. Think about your masculine outdoors, woodsy themed things. These pine cones would make beautiful backgrounds with deer and moose, and it's just really a beautiful stamp set. And the pine cones are just too cool when you stamp them. So the big, I don't know, like the bubble area, the wide area, we're gonna do with crumb cake. The detail area, the more narrow, more refined, the smaller image, that gets stamped over. I'm using early espresso, and look at these gorgeous pine cones. You got the highlights, the shading, the shadows, everything in just 2 stamps. Stamp your background, stamp your details. I love this stamp set. Makes me look like an artist. It really does. All right, let's grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and the coordinating dies. These come in the same die set, those seasonal labels. They have all those great labels that you can use with everything, not just for Christmas. You can use them all year round. Those labels are fantastic, but you also get the little outline shapes to cut out all of the greenery from the Christmas season stamp set. So we're gonna go ahead and line up all of these little bits and give them a crank and get them cut out. Crank. We can do all the shapes. I love when we get all the shapes cut out in as few passes as possible. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna bring my example back in here and my card. How about some labels? Okay, so we've got our little labels that are all stacked together. Let's get some liquid glue, and we're going to glue it to the highest center, top to bottom, and then liquid glue, and then we're going to put it a little bit high of center, and center right to left. Oh, so pretty. Now, pine cones, I do those guys first, but not a lot of adhesive. Just like we did with the back of the label, we're going to use just a little bit of adhesive so that we can slide the other greenery pieces. So I'm going to put a dimensional on the base of that pine cone and then put it so that it doesn't cover my greeting. And I'm going to put a half a dimensional right up next to our other pine cone, and then add the little guy. So pretty already. I love it. We're going to put our pine boughs on next. I'm going to get half a dimensional for the end of each one of these little branches. And let's see, we can just tuck it in because we didn't go crazy with the dimensionals on the pine cone. And we can tuck in our second branch, and then our berry sprigs. I'm going to put just a little bit of dimension on the end of this berry, all the way out to the edge. A little bit of liquid glue on the stem. Then we're going to slide it between the boughs and the pine cones. And it here. And our next set of berries, we're going to do kind of the same with the little adhesive on the end. Our dimensionals all the way on the end. We'll put a little liquid glue on the stem and then slide it behind the larger pine cone. And we're just framing up our greeting now. Don't go past the edge of the card there. Where it folds is as far as you can go. There we are. And then this guy gets the same treatment. You're gonna do a little adhesive on this, dimensional adhesive on this little edge of the branch, and then a little bit of liquid on this side where it goes over the greeting. And just slide that behind your berries and keep on framing that greeting. There we go. Looking good, right? So let's catch up our other cards. All right, everybody's caught up and got greenery. Now, in your kit, you got some sheer red ribbon. Make sure, you need a lot of bows on this ribbon, so make sure that you tie with one end still attached to the card. You're gonna loop up just a little bit. No twisting, just fold. So loop, swoop over the top, tuck in that little space that's open, and pull the center, finesse, and there is your bow. Cute, right? Now we're gonna trim away from the spool or from the card. I always tie this way because then when we clean up this edge, adjust the length and the angle, that's all we throw away. Let's get some glue dots where I have the 3 bows for our other cards. We're going to add our bows with glue dots. And I did them right where these little pine cones come together. All right, there's our bows. Now I'm just mixing and matching. Let me put the bow on that one. I'm just mixing and matching my little red and gold wonderful gems. We're going to put a little one and a big one. We're going to mix some of the red ones and the green ones, or red ones and clear ones, and add a little sparkle. Here's our last one. It's so pretty. I love the Evening Evergreen card base. Isn't that gorgeous? And there it is. Love and joy come to you. May it last the whole year through. If you've got any questions about the card, the project, you can email marisa@kitchentablestamper.com to check stock and see if we have a class packet so you can stamp along with us. Let me help you wrap it up for the holidays. You can buzz over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop, drop the product filter, click class packets, and if we have these Stamp-A-Stacks in stock, they will ship the same day. I'll get them out to you super quick so you can make your cards. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Now, don't forget, we have those 4 little pieces, 2x2 pieces of designer series paper left in our grid. Video number 3 will be available tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.